Good morning everybody, it's Glenn from Sniper Photography. Look, today I've come up to Somersby Falls, which is up near the Central Coast, up around the Gosford area. And I don't know if you can hear in the background, but the waterfall is absolutely roaring its head off after a week of rain here since, well, basically Boxing Day. Now, I've been here probably 12 months ago and we hadn't had a lot of rain, and there was only what we call a horseshoe trail of water coming down off the rock face. But just sitting here at the car waiting to go down to the falls, I think I'm going to see something a little bit better this time. So what we'll do, we'll get the gear ready and I'll go through with you how to photograph waterfalls, what to look for, what sort of filtration to use. So having said all that, I'll get the gear ready and I'll see you down at the bottom of the falls. Well, good morning everybody. Welcome to Somersby Falls, and as I predicted, it is absolutely magnificent, the amount of water that's coming down here. I hope you can hear me, but we're going to get some good shots here today, and I might start at the top of the falls here, and then or the middle falls, and then I'll go down to the bottom falls. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good morning here at Somersby Falls. Okay, first thing what you want to do when you come to a waterfall is you want to survey the scene. You want to look for composition, and there's a few areas of composition here that I'll shoot this morning. It's a bit like a detective when he goes to a crime scene. He's looking for clues. Well, for us, we're looking for photographic clues, which is composition. So I'll spin the camera around and I'll show you exactly the first image I'll take, and I'll explain my settings through that shoot. Okay, for this first shot, I've got this rock directly in front of me here, which is going to lead the eye into the actual waterfall. It's good to try and look for foreground elements, and that will sort of like break up the picture into three sections. You've got the rock at the front, which is and I'll show you the rock in a moment. The rock in the front is the foreground. Then you've got the plateau at the base of the falls. Then you've got the falls itself. So I'll spin the camera around, I'll show you the rock and the waterfall once again, and then I'll take the shot and then I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. Okay, so there's the rock there. To your left as you're looking at it, then you can see the talon water behind the rock, and then the plateau, then the falls itself. So that's going to be a nice shot. So I'll take the shot now, and I'll let you know what settings I'm using, or I'm letting the light dictate what settings I actually need here. I'm not going to force anything as yet. I'm not going to introduce any filtration at this stage, but I will probably put a polarizer on and maybe a 4-stop ND filter. But we'll see how we go as the morning progresses. Okay, for this first shot, I'm currently at f11, ISO 100, and my shutter speed, well, I'm giving me an exposure time of 2 seconds, and that will probably slow the water down quite nicely. If I want to go more, there's a few things I can do inside the camera, but I think I'm happy with that so far. f11, ISO 100, and a 2-second exposure. Yeah, that looks very good. I use manual focus all the time. What I do, I have the camera set to autofocus, and I focus about 1/3 of the way into the image, which is just past that rock which you've just seen. Then I switch the camera to manual focus, and then I check it with my Hoodman loop, which I'll do now. Yeah, absolutely perfect. That's why this Hoodman loop works really well. You can get your exposure pin sharp. It's very simple. So I'll take that shot. I'm using a remote shutter release here, or intervalometer is the special name for it, just a fancy name. So I'll take the shot now. I'm shooting in RAW, so it's f11, 2-second exposure, ISO 100. And there's the finished image. I'll put that up on the screen so you can have a look at that. Okay, time for some filtration. I've just attached my Nissi circular polarizer. Now this is a landscape circular polarizer from Nissi, and you have to be very careful with it. If you crank it right up, it tends to turn the saturation off the Richter scale really, and you include a lot of blueness into the image. So I've only got it about 30% polarization at the moment, and the reason why I've done that is because with the water it's got talent in it and by using the circular polarizer it's enabled me to get that water to look a bit cleaner, a bit whiter. So circular polarizers are fantastic. I think for filtration, if you're going to buy a filter for landscape photography, it's got to be a circular polarizer. This one is the Nissi one, of course. There's plenty of others out there, but the settings at the moment now that I've put my Nissi circular polarizer on there, I've now gone to 6 seconds, because with the circular polarizer you're losing probably a stop, sometimes 2 stops of light. It all depends how far you crank it up. So it's now at 6 seconds, and I think that in essence will probably work really, really good here. So I formed it up. I'll take the shot and I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. You just focus in, always manual focus on the live view, use the Hoodman loop. Magnificent. You take the shot. It's very, very simple. What I might do now is introduce probably a 4-stop neutral density filter, see if I can slow that water right down. And I'll explain to you how and why we use these filters or this type of filtration in landscape photography. Just have a look at that shot. Fantastic, it's looking really well. Going really well indeed, this waterfall after the rain. We had this rain since Boxing Day and it's been absolutely hammering down. But I knew this place would be on fire today. Fantastic place, only about an hour from Sydney, hour and 10 minutes. Somersby Falls. Time for some filtration. Okay, time for filtration. I'm going to use a 4-stop neutral density filter. Now, how do we use these? Well, why do we use them? Well, the reason why we use these is to slow the water down. Anything moving, we need to slow it right down. So it enables us to get slower shutter speeds or longer exposures. Because at the present time now, I'm running at 5 to 6 seconds, and that's okay for this waterfall, but I want to really blow it out. And with the 4-stop ND filter, it'll enable me to have my shutter open longer. It's very, very simple. That's why we use them. But how do we use them and how do we calculate? Because when I put this piece of glass on front of this lens, I'm not going to be able to focus or anything like that. So what I've done, I've pre-focused. So I know that my focusing is correct. I've checked with the Hoodman loop. Now I'll insert this filter. Time for filtration, as I said. It's a 4-stop ND filter. Okay, I've inserted the 4D graduate or neutral density filter, but how do we work out the time? How do we know what shutter speed to use? Well, as you can see, the back of the screen now has gone very, very dark. So there's various ways you can work this out. I'm hopeless at mathematics, was never good at it. But I've downloaded an app. There's apps you can download on your phone. And the one I used, well, Nissi's got one, Lee's got one, all the manufacturers of good quality filters have one. I use just a normal ND filter timer. That's it there. As you can see that. Now, my current exposure was Well, my base exposure was 5 seconds. So I just dial in 5 seconds. And a 4-stop, that's given me a 1 minute 20 second exposure. Now, that's why you use the cable release. But now I've got to set my camera to bulb mode, because most cameras only let you go to 30 seconds and then you've got to switch into bulb mode. So I'll do that now. Okay, we're in bulb mode. 1 minute, 20 seconds. I'm in focus, everything's ready to go. The filter's in place. Let's take the shot. And we'll see how we go after that. Okay, there's the image there after the filtration was used. It was a 4-stop neutral density filter with a 1 minute 20 second exposure. And that is absolutely magnificent. It's smoothed out the water at the base of the waterfall. So that's probably why, well, that's why we use neutral density filters, just to give us that extra length of having the shutter open, or a longer exposure. Okay, it's starting to rain here now, so it's time for me to scamper, because I think we're going to get a lot of rain in a moment. But that's it for Somersby Falls. One good thing, one point you must remember, when you're at the falls, always try and clean your lenses, or your lenses and your filters. Just makes it a little bit easier. So that's it for Somersby Falls. Thanks for joining me here today at Sniper Photography. I hope you learned something from that, but if you liked the video, just give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, just hit that subscribe button down below. And leave any messages or any questions you like, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So that's it for Somersby Falls. I'm going to have a coffee. Have a great day, and Happy New Year.